we must protect the position of the American dollar as a pillar of monetary stability around the world.
Hey everyone! We've got an absolutely fascinating topic on our hands today, one that's been creating quite a buzz in the financial world. We're talking about the potential end of the US dollar long-standing reign as the top currency for oil trades. Imagine that. Countries in the BRICS coalition, such as Russia, China, Brazil, and even Saudi Arabia, are thinking about leaving the dollar. This development has certainly caught the attention of international finance experts. Now, for those who may not know, the US dollar has held a dominant position as the go-to currency for oil trade since way back in the 1970s. The fact that the US dollar is the world's reserve currency is a big reason why the US economy is so strong around the world. But as the BRICS coalition gains momentum, some experts can't help but wonder if we're on the cusp of a monumental shift in the global financial landscape. So where does this leave the dollar and the US economy? Great question. The mighty US dollar, long the reigning champion of global finance, now finds itself under threat as a paradigm-shifting revolution unfolds before our very eyes. As we delve into the potential ripple effects of this monumental transformation, we'll explore the far-reaching implications not only for the future of this once unassailable currency, but also for the intricate tapestry of our interconnected world. Isn't it fascinating to see how the relationships between the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, change over time? All of these countries want to change the way the financial world works, which has been dominated by the US dollar for decades. They are getting through the rough waters of geopolitical tensions and possible US sanctions by looking out for their own interests. As this story unfolds, Russia and China are spearheading the group's efforts to lessen their dependence on the US dollar. India, Brazil, and South Africa have also backed calls for a new global monetary system and pushed for the use of their own currencies in international trade. What's truly inspiring is the way these BRICS nations are taking on the dollar's supremacy. They're working diligently toward a shared currency and monetary unit within their sphere, exploring an idea akin to the special drawing rights, SDR, called a basket currency. However, it's important to remember that the level of commitment from each nation in terms of their foreign exchange reserves remains a tad unclear. One key driving force behind their efforts is the desire to diversify their economies, making them less susceptible to external shocks and currency fluctuations tied to the US dollar. Yet, as you pointed out, their heavy reliance on the dollar could make it hard for them to get a reserve currency. But the BRICS nations aren't backing down. They are determined to protect their financial interests around the world by moving forward with this alternative currency. It's thrilling to watch these countries collaborate on such an ambitious project, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds in the years ahead. It's amazing to see how united and determined the BRICS countries are as they try to find a new reserve currency. Their work together shows how powerful teamwork can be and sends a clear message to the world about how important it is to diversify the global financial system. Imagine the profound impact a new currency or monetary unit could have on trade and finance worldwide. A change like this could make the currency market more competitive, which could lead to new ideas and make countries rethink how much they rely on the US dollar. As the BRICS countries move forward, growing their economies and increasing their presence on the world stage, it's fascinating to think about how the rest of the world will react. The creation of a new currency could change the way international trade and finance work. It could open the door to new opportunities and help countries work together in ways we haven't seen before. The story of the BRICS nations and their pursuit of an alternative reserve currency is a thrilling adventure, and we're all eager to witness the remarkable changes it could bring to the world's financial landscape. Isn't it interesting that South Africa's Foreign Minister, Naledi Pandor, talked to Russia's Sputnik about the BRICS countries' efforts to make a more fair system for exchanging money? While this news may not have garnered much attention in the Western media, it was a hot topic in the Indian press. Pandor was worried about how much the US dollar was used in world finance, and she stressed the need to look into other options. She noticed that the way money works now tends to favor richer countries. This makes things harder for countries like South Africa which has to pay more when paying in dollars because of currency conversions. During her interview, Pandor talked about how important it was to make a more fair system and said that BRICS ministers had talked about this. She cited the New Development Bank, NDB, as a key player in this pursuit. The BRICS countries started the NDB in 2014 as an alternative to the US-led World Bank. It could help build a more fair system for exchanging money if it works well. Additionally, Pandor tackled the issue of unilateral sanctions imposed by the United States. She agreed with South Africa's long-held worries about how these sanctions would affect countries that were not directly involved in a conflict. Pandor said she wanted the U.S. to change its way of doing things because unilateral sanctions rarely work to solve problems. Even Saudi Arabia, which has been a long-time ally of the United States, is thinking about joining the BRICS nations in their efforts to get away from the dollar. As the world's top oil exporter, Saudi Arabia has recently entertained the idea of trading its crude oil in currencies other than the US dollar. In an interview with Bloomberg TV, Saudi Finance Minister Mohammed Al-Jadaan said he was willing to talk about different ways to pay for trade agreements, such as in US dollars, euros, or Saudi riyals. He emphasized that they were open to conversations aimed at enhancing global trade. It's essential to recall that in 1974, Saudi Arabia reached an agreement with the U.S. to trade oil in dollars and invest oil profits in U.S. Treasury securities in return for security. This petrodollar system came about after President Richard Nixon stopped the dollar from being exchangeable for gold in 1971. It helped keep the dollar as the reserve currency of the world. However, the petrodollar now appears to be facing stiff competition. Last year, the Wall Street Journal said that Saudi Arabia was thinking about charging China in yuan for some of the oil it sold. However, Riyadh did not confirm this. In December, Chinese President Xi Jinping went to Riyadh for a historic meeting with the GCC, Gulf Cooperation Council, and 21 Arab League countries. While there, he talked about how the renminbi could be used to pay for energy from the Persian Gulf. Reuters reported that President Xi said China plans to keep buying a lot of crude oil from GCC countries, bring in more liquefied natural gas, and work together more on different parts of the oil and gas business. He also mentioned leveraging the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange as a platform for yuan settlement of oil and gas trade. Beijing, Riyadh, and the GCC countries have all said they want to increase their multilateral trade with China, which is already Saudi Arabia's biggest trading partner. This growing relationship is a sign of a change in the global economy, and it could make the US dollar less important in international trade. The world is moving towards a multipolar economic system, with the BRICS nations and Saudi Arabia leading the charge. In a recent op-ed in the Financial Times, Zoltan Pozsar, a well-known economist and global head of short-term interest rate strategy at the Swiss investment bank Credit Suisse, talked about this change. Pozsar explained that the unipolar era, where the U.S. was the undisputed hegemon after the First Cold War, is coming to an end. He used China's Belt and Road Initiative, the BRICS Plus group of emerging economies, and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization as examples of the new type of globalization that is being actively shaped in today's multipolar world. Pozsar says that the ongoing fragmentation of international economic and political institutions could lead to one world, two systems, which is similar to the way China runs Hong Kong, with one country, two systems. He said that the main problems with the current monetary order based on the dollar are the spread of de-dollarization and the creation of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Pozsar observed that de-dollarization has been gaining momentum lately. He gave examples of how China and India have used yuan, rupees, and UAE dirhams to buy things from Russia. China also has told GCC countries to use the Shanghai Petroleum and Natural Gas Exchange to settle oil and gas trades in renminbi. India, on the other hand, has set up a rupee settlement system for its international transactions. As the BRICS group expands, de-dollarization of trade movements could become increasingly prevalent. The Economist also said that China, Russia, and Saudi Arabia are building up large current account surpluses because they are exporting more. However, instead of investing in U.S. Treasury securities, their central banks are focusing on gold, commodities, and infrastructure projects like the Belt and Road Initiative. Pozsar came to the conclusion that the U.S. dollar's exorbitant privilege as the international reserve currency could be in danger. If less trade is billed in dollars, less of the surplus dollars are put back into traditional reserve assets like treasury bonds. What do you think? As the world moves toward a multipolar economic system and de-dollarization picks up speed, how will the United States change its economic and foreign policies to keep its global influence? What could the long-term effects be on the stability of the international financial system? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more interesting and informative videos.